Hey everyone, welcome back to yet another marvelous video. This one is for all the Marvel fans out there. Today we'll be looking into the Marvel Universe to talk about a character who's as fascinating as the heroes that she calls family. She's brilliant, unpredictable, and connected to both heroes and villains in ways you might not expect. We're talking about none other than Valeria Richards. So sit back and enjoy as we dive in. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. Who exactly is Marvel Girl? Alright, imagine being the second kid in the world's most famous super family, and having your birth basically rewrite the rules of reality. That is Valeria Richards. Valeria Richards. She's the daughter of Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic, and Sue Storm, Invisible Woman, from the Fantastic Four. Because Sue and Reed were both exposed to cosmic radiation, and Valeria was conceived in the negative zone, a weird, dangerous pocket of the Marvel Universe. Her birth was seriously complicated. Things got so tough that doctors feared Sue would not make it, and the whole family went through heartbreak when it seemed Valeria was lost before she could even be born. But here's the twist. Her older brother Franklin, who, by the way, has reality-altering powers, sensed something was missing. With a little cosmic help from the omniversal guardian Roma, Franklin rescued Valeria's spirit and sent her someplace else, shielding her from danger for years. Sue and Reed believed their baby girl was gone, but the Marvel Universe loves a comeback. As fate would have it, Valeria was saved through a mix of Dr. Doom's science and magic. Despite Doom being Reed's arch-nemesis, Valeria actually grew up sharing a surprisingly close bond with him, even calling him Uncle Doom on occasion. She first cameoed as a grown-up Valeria Von Doom in Fantastic Four, Volume 3, Number 15, 1999, and made her full adult debut in issue number 20. As a child, she first appeared, before birth actually, in issue number 50, then for real in issue number 54. But her story goes back even further, with hints of her existence in the Fantastic Four's stories, dating back to the early 80s. Her origin story. After the Fantastic Four returned from their Wild Heroes Reborn escapade, a mysterious girl suddenly appeared at Pier 4, Valeria. You know how superhero families are. Suspicion flared instantly. Alarms went off. But Valeria remained optimistic. She revealed that she was from a timeline where she was the daughter of Susan Von Doom and Victor Von Doom, a revelation that shook Sue Storm to her core. Believing it to be yet another of Doom's tricks, Sue flatly refused to accept she could ever end up with Victor. Horrified, she called the girl a monster and pushed her away. Reed wanted to run tests to uncover the truth, but Sue couldn't handle it. Her words hit Valeria hard, driving her to run straight into danger. She soon found herself in the middle of a fight with a mind-controlled She-Hulk, Titania, an absorbing man. The Thing was eventually pulled into the brawl as well. Valeria held her own long enough for the Fantastic Four to arrive and turn the tide. Watching Sue fight for her finally earned Valeria a place in the family. Sue invited her to stay at Pier 4, mending some of their earlier rifts. During this time, Valeria and Franklin grew even closer. She even crossed paths with Doom himself, hoping to forge some kind of connection, but Doom, true to form, barely acknowledged her. Then, as if things weren't complicated enough, reality itself began to warp. The Heroes Reborn Earth started merging with the main Marvel Universe. Fearing for the children's safety, Sue sent Valeria and Franklin away on a ship to a distant part of the universe. They ended up at a school for the gifted, where Franklin confided in Valeria about a mysterious figure named Roma, who had been appearing in his dreams with cryptic guidance. Back on Earth, the severed head of Galactus from an alternate reality crashed into New York, a clear sign that much bigger events were coming. Valeria and Franklin returned just in time to be swept into a showdown with Galactus and Abraxas. The team learned that Galactus' existence kept Abraxas imprisoned across realities. But in one universe, Galactus had already been killed, setting Abraxas free. The Fantastic Four embarked on a universe-hopping mission to find the ultimate nullifier, with Valeria helping wherever she could. When they finally located it, Nova betrayed them, revealing she'd been working for Abraxas all along. Then came the turning point. Valeria and Sue shared visions that revealed the truth about Franklin's role in saving her life years before. Everything changed Sue finally saw her as a daughter. With the battle going badly, Valeria and Franklin combined their powers to restore Galactic, discovering he was tied to the very essence of eternity. The plan worked, but at a cost. Valeria's life seemed to end in the process, or so everyone believed. Moments later, Sue was back on Earth, calling for Franklin, and very visibly pregnant. This time, there was no doom in the family tree. Valeria's father was Reed Richards. Still, her birth was fraught with danger. Once again, Sue's life hung in the balance. With Reed unavailable, Johnny Storm turned to the unlikeliest of allies, Dr. Doom. Doom agreed to help, but only on the condition that he could name the child. Sue reluctantly accepted. Doom delivered the baby safely, naming her Valeria after someone from his past. But, Doom being Doom, he secretly placed a spell on her, binding her as his magical familiar. 2 years later, Doom activated that spell, launching an attack that dragged Franklin into hell. Valeria's first word was tellingly Doom. The Fantastic Four pursued him, but his magic overwhelmed them. He took Valeria, twisting the team's powers against them. Eventually, with help from Doctor Strange's astral projection, Reed broke free and turned the tables. The team rescued both children and severed Doom's link to Valeria for good. After that, life settled into something resembling normal, or at least as normal as it ever gets for the Fantastic Four. Marvel Girls' most epic adventures. Life in the Baxter Building was never quiet, but after a series of supervillain attacks, child welfare started questioning whether Franklin and Valeria were safe living there. Reed and Sue fought the idea of giving them up, but eventually agreed to set up a fake safe house and tell the press the kids had already been moved. That plan didn't last long. Before the move could happen, the safe house was obliterated, leaving nothing but a smoking crater for half a mile around. No one ever figured out who was responsible. Some even whispered Reed might have done it himself. To keep the kids close, whatever the truth, it was enough to make child welfare back off. Months later, Valeria's intelligence took a massive leap. She was quickly closing in on Reed's level and decided to keep it quiet, worried about how it might change the family dynamic. The only one who knew was her nanny, Tabitha Deneuve, who was secretly a future version of Sue. Eventually, Valeria revealed the truth to her family and began working with her father in the lab. When Reed was trapped in an experiment and the rest of the team stranded in other realities, Franklin and Valeria found themselves facing Norman Osborn, Venom, and a swarm of Hammer agents. Valeria used her wits to get Osborn separated from his men and give Franklin the opening to confront him. Norman chased him down and was about to attack when Sue returned, pinning him to the wall with an invisible force field. Reinforcements couldn't break through, and Reed eventually ordered Norman out of the building. The incident ended with a strange twist. Franklin appeared to injure Osborn, despite holding nothing more than a toy gun, hinting that his reality-warping powers might be returning. As Valeria's mind kept sharpening, she was visited by her future brother Franklin, who warned her of a coming event called the War of the Four Cities, and told her Doom would be the key to saving their father. When she discovered her father's secret portal to the Council of Reeds, a gathering of alternate versions of him from across the multiverse, she understood the danger. She went to Doom for help, finding him mentally broken from a past battle, and struck a deal. She would restore him if he helped her save Reed. Around the same time, Reed brought together a group of young prodigies to form the Future Foundation, but even they could not stop the annihilation wave from breaking through from the negative zone. Johnny Storm sealed the portal himself, sacrificing his life in the process. Valeria's grief quickly turned to determination, and she began planning ways to destroy Annihilus. With guidance from her grandfather Nathaniel, Valeria pushed for Doom to be inducted into the Foundation. This didn't sit well with the Fantastic Four, but she pressed on. Teaming up with some of the greatest villains with brilliant minds, they moved to counter the Council's schemes. When all seemed lost, future versions of Franklin and Valeria arrived. Franklin restored Galactus, who destroyed the Celestials and ended the threat. Valeria continued to demonstrate her brilliance, uncovering that Tabitha had been orchestrating events as a future Sue. After betrayals, attacks, and deepening distrust of Reed, she moved to Latveria for a time, convinced she could reform Doom. At the time, her trust in Reed was fractured, and Doom offered a different kind of reliability. When Sue attempted to bring her back by force, the darker side of her personality, known as Malice, began to surface. Valeria initially refused to return, but in time realized her family needed her. She eventually came home, though her alliance with Doom left a mark that would never fully fade. When the multiverse began to collapse, Valeria helped Reed design a life raft to survive the final incursion. She died when the vessel was breached, but Reed, having gained the Beyonder's power, brought her back. She rejoined the Future Foundation and spent years traveling between realities to rebuild the multiverse. When Franklin's powers burned out, the team was attacked by the Griever at the end of all things, who destroyed hundreds of universes. In the final stand, Reed summoned every hero who had ever been part of the Fantastic Four. The battle was won, and Valeria returned to Earth with her family, where only months had passed during their years away. Later, Reed sent Valeria and the other children exactly 1 year into the future to outmaneuver invaders from the negative zone. When they returned, only moments later, from their perspective, the family had moved to a new home, the Fantastic Farmhouse in Arizona. A closer look at her. Valeria's powers are a mix of her parents' legacies and her own unique abilities. She can generate force fields like Sue, but with no clear upper limit. The only real boundaries are her imagination and how far she's willing to push herself. She's also capable of manipulating time through something she calls the Time Dance, and can shift into a fully armored form that mirrors Doom's iconic battlesuit. Add to that a mind as sharp as Reed Richards, and you have someone who's as dangerous in the lab as she is in a fight. Once her timeline was reset and she returned to being a child, those abilities vanished, at least for now. Like many mutants, it's possible her powers will not manifest again until she hits puberty. Even so, she's still operating on a genius-level intellect, easily matching, and sometimes even surpassing Reed. She's already building tech that most adults could not dream of, including a levitation jacket she used when she and Franklin teamed up with X-Factor to search for Sue. In the Marvel Knights storyline, Johnny runs into another future version of Valeria, this one with an upgraded twist on Sue's invisibility. Not only can she vanish from sight, but she can also make someone else completely undetectable, masking everything from kinetic energy to body heat. Like Franklin, Valeria's exact age has always been a bit of a puzzle. Artists often draw her looking older than she's supposed to be, and sometimes she even appears close in age to Franklin, even though their births are separated by several years. In 2014, editor Tom Brevoort mentioned on Tumblr that Valeria was about 3 years old, while Franklin was 8, putting roughly 5 years between them. Of course, with Marvel's events, ages in the comics are never as straightforward as they seem. Marvelous verdict. Well, with that, guys, we've come to the end of yet another fun video. Valeria's journey has been full of twists, and it feels like Marvel's only scratched the surface of what she can become. But what do you think? What's your take on Marvel Girl? Which of Valeria's storylines was your favorite? Would you ever trust your fate to Dr. Doom if you were in her shoes? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. If you enjoyed watching this video, do remember to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching. Until next time.